Well, it's a very warm welcome and thank you for joining us on this independent off-tube studio commentary. Our referee, Tori Penso, is just about ready to get this game underway. It's Czechia against South Africa from Atlanta, two sides who lost their opening games in the group stage. We are into the second round of group games now, so it really is now or never for these two sides. You would imagine that if any of these sides lose this evening, that could be it, although with the third place option still there, potentially a defeat tonight and a win in the last game could still give them half a chance. But both teams really need to go for it this evening. It's myself, Paul Szczerbakowicz and Jonny Holmes. Actually, Jonny, do we expect Czechia to be the more dominant side this evening?
I think so, based on the first games that these two played. I thought that the Czechs ran South Korea pretty close. That was quite an entertaining game and both sides were in it until the very end, whereas South Africa, as we know, against Mexico really struggled and had a few disciplinary issues as well. So I think, if I was to guess, Czech Republic will be on the front foot.
And here they go now down the left-hand side, trying immediately to get a ball into the penalty area. Options now, blocks coming in. Oh, and it was just a little bit of a loose ball played in. And essentially that cross just a little bit slow to react there, the South African defenders. The ball was over on the left-hand side, and it's Krejci. It wasn't even a cross, it was more like a lob ball in, and everybody just seemed to leave it.
Really strange one, and Chick, he had so much time. He's no one anywhere near him. The ball sort of loops up into the air, deflected cross in, and he's got so much time to work out what he's going to do with the header. And in fact, all he does is let it drop onto his shoulder and sort of bobble away in behind. He should have done so much better. Real chance for Chic early on, and well, there was just no one around him.
No one around him at all, and Chic normally would take that opportunity much better. 16 goals in the Bundesliga last season, 21 the season before that. He really is amongst the goals, but here come Czechia down the left-hand side. They really are making a really good start here in this game. Ball played towards the edge of the area, challenge there from Mudau. He wants to say that it should be a goal kick. Our referee says it is going to be a corner. And so a minute and a half on the clock. Czechia have already had a header from inside the 6-yard box, and now they want a corner as well.
Yeah, Hlozek dispossessed there by Mudau. Good tackle, but they're looking dangerous early on down that left-hand flank. That's where the dangers come for South Africa early on in this game, and the Czechs are certainly on top early on.
It's going to be an out-swinging corner here from the left-hand side. The big men are up for Czechia. Out-swinging ball towards the edge of the 6-yard box. Good header away there by Adams, and a loose ball breaks, and all of a sudden it might be half a chance for South Africa. A strong challenge there in midfield. The referee allows play to go on because it has reached a Polis here on the left-hand side, and plenty of teammates are joining him now, but he actually holds the ball up, and the counter-attacking opportunity is gone for South Africa, but at least they do move up the field, and it's the first time really in this game that we can say they actually have some possession. Ball is out with Maseko here on the right-hand side. Back into the middle now for Mokoena. Across to Polis. There's support here from Madiba on the left-hand side, but Polis just holding it up and sending it back towards Mokoena, and now all the way back to the goalkeeper. Now, this is where South Africa got themselves into trouble against Mexico, is the fact that they were quite slow to go forward and they wanted to have a lot of possession in their own half. Well, that can lead to problems.
They can indeed, but I suppose it's a bit of a double-edged sword. They need to get on the ball, they need to settle themselves down, because early on, first couple of minutes, it was Czechia with more opportunities and sort of being a bit more marauding and going forward as they're looking to do here. And I think South Africa, they need to get a foot on the ball, but of course, as you said, can lead to problems, and it certainly did against Mexico. Let's see if they've learned from them.
Well, in the meantime, we've got a bit of a break in play here now. Our referee is just calling Mokoena across, just to have a quick word with him to see exactly what the referee. There was a strong challenge there in the middle of the park, and I think the referee just wants to tell Mokoena just to take it easy. We'll see from this replay. I mean, the ball's there to be won. He's a little bit unlucky. I think he's actually just missed the ball and then caught the Czech player without really having any intent to hit him at all.
Yeah, nothing much in there. I thought for a second that the studs were going to come down on the top of the foot, but that didn't really happen. I think it was just one of those where he was a bit late, a bit unlucky, over the ball, and nothing really doing. I think what the referee was saying is if you go in like that again, it could be a different story if you do catch the man.
That's what referee's going to be telling Mokoena as the ball is played out towards the left-hand side, hooked back into the penalty area. It's looped up in the air. It's not going to stay in play for Williams to avoid giving away another corner. The ball deflected there off Jaden Adams. And it really is a pressure start here from Czechia. Ball just lobbed in. It probably wasn't the best bit of control there from Soufal, but he wanted to hit it first time.
Yeah, and he's been given a lot of space on that right-hand side, Soufal. I think a couple of times when we've seen that the Czechs have had a lot of space as the corner comes in.
Yeah, and the goalkeeper went a long way out. There was an outswinger from Soufal, then a jumping volley from the edge of the area is miscued in the end. Not the best effort there from Michal Sadilek, and it goes out for a goal kick. But certainly, promising start this for Czechia, and it's also very telling that the one occasion when South Africa were in possession, they got to the halfway line, and their next thought was to play 10 passes back.
Yeah, I don't think they've really strung any passes together in the half of the Czechs, and I'll try and do that now, but no, it won't work out. I think early on, it certainly seems like Czechia are in a very good position to take this game by the scruff of the neck, because they've got the possession, they've had the chances, and South Africa seem to be just hemmed into their own half.
And now a very long throw, taking advantage of the fact you can't be offside from it. Kalusia gets to the edge of the area, plays that ball across. Oh, a lovely pass in, it must be, and it's an early goal for Czechia, and they've been promising this since the first 30 seconds. And it's Sadilek who had that poor jumping volley just a moment ago. He had so much space at the edge of the area, and it is just too easy for Czechia.
I was about to say exactly the same thing. Those two words, too easy. South Africa just not marking at all. So much space there. Sadilek, he had so much space and just time to take the touch and find the finish. Actually, from the Czech point of view, it's a lovely move. They string the passes together really well, but it's too easy to do that when there's no marking.
Well, when there's no marking, as you say, it's just so straightforward. As that ball was played in, Czechia fans are absolutely delighted. And Sadilek just running across to get a few high fives from the Czechia bench as well. They'll be absolutely delighted with this start. But it starts off with a very long throw here down the right-hand side. Kalusia, of course, couldn't be offside from it. He does really well just to keep that ball going. He plays it to the edge of the area. I've got to say, I don't really understand what Madau's doing there. That ball effectively went over his foot. All he's got to do is clear it, and the danger's averted. But he lets the ball go past him, and from there it's just too easy.
Yeah, he tries to close the man down as well, which leaves so much space in behind him. And once that ball is found and seen through to Sadilek, there's only one result there, and I just think they're at 6 and 7s, aren't they, the South Africans? And similar to the opening game, just doesn't seem to be a very well regimented back line.
No, it doesn't. And with that early goal, it is really going to force South Africa's hand. They've got to try and do something now, because if they just carry on, well, in fairness, they've barely had any possession really. Had one counter-attack and they stopped on the halfway line with it. Other than that, they've not really seen the ball. So Czechia certainly making the early strides in this game, getting the early goal. Ball out here from Makazi gets all the way towards the Czechia penalty area, but it's been blocked in midfield there by Sadilek out for a throw, quickly taken back towards the halfway line. And that's not a good ball there from Mukwena. It was blocked by Kalusiak, but it deflected off him, so he wasn't able to take advantage of it himself. Madau now plays the ball down this right-hand side for Maseko. Back into the middle now for Adams. It's a bit better now from South Africa, moving the ball around. They just need to try and get a little bit further forward. Here is Madiba trying to link up with Mukwena there at the edge of the area. But that's good work there from Derrida, getting in the way and able to clear that one into midfield. South Africa get it back though. Good work here from Maseko to keep this ball alive. In towards Madau. Back into the middle now for Adams. Over towards Maseko again. There's an overlap as well if he can get that ball in, but that's a good block there from Soika, and that's going to be a free kick to Czechia as well, as Maseko just a little bit too keen to try and win that one back. But it's I suppose from South Africa's point of view, it's a shame that it needed a goal against them for them to actually try and get a bit of possession in the final third.
Yeah, it looks like they're slowly starting to grow into this game. At least they were able to string a few passes together in the Czech Republic half. But as soon as they got anywhere near the final third, it just seems to still be going backwards, or there's a loose touch, or there's a misplaced pass. And, so far they haven't looked very threatening at all. But, they're building into this one, and maybe that threat is to come later. But as you rightfully said, they've got a goal down, so they've got work to do.
They have indeed, and from our point of view, as I say, we always want the most excitement. The England game certainly delivered that last night. There have been some fabulous games. There have been some ordinary ones as well, of course, but with that many games in a tournament, it's always going to be the case. But now here come Czechia again with a ball down the right-hand side towards Soufal. Oh, it's a great ball in. It just a crucial header there at the last second from Madau. Gets that ball away. Actually now with a bit of a delay, we hear that Soufal is in an offside position. Have a look from this replay. Yes, he is. He was always a step or two ahead of his man there, but a decent move there from Czechia again. Yeah,
and there's so much space on the far side. When that ball is being worked down this right-hand side, you see that Soufal there. He's, it's as if the South Africans are completely focused on what's going on the lane in the channel where the ball is, and just not thinking about the far side. And if Soufal was able to switch that ball, unfortunately, it came to a close. There was an offside flag, but there was so much space on that left-hand side. The likes of Soika, Derrida, they've just got acres of space to run into.
I just wonder if Kaliso Madau is perhaps a little bit of a weak link in that South African defence, because actually before that offside flag went up, it was his header inside the 6-yard box that averted the danger. But he's the right back. He should have been where you mentioned all that space was for Czechia. So, and of course, he was the one that let that ball go past him for the goal as well. So that may be an area that Czechia can exploit as the game progresses. But there's a long clearance here now from Makazi out towards the right-hand side. That's headed out by Soika. So they have gained quite a lot of territory there, South Africa, with that long ball out. Will be a throw, but once again they don't wait for players to get forward. Throw on, 2 passes later they're back on the halfway line again. Really is safety first here for Hugo Bruce's side, and so they are slowly moving into Czechia territory, out towards the right hand side now. That's a good overlap as well there from Maseko. Gets it onto his left foot. Is he going to try and whip this ball in? There's not too much space. His cross is blocked. It's back with Mudau all the way back into midfield. Now here is Ocon. Square to Mbakazi. Mbakazi out to the left-hand side here. Madiba looks up. There are no options in the box, though. And again, that ball into the penalty area is just a hopeful ball down the left channel. Strong challenge there in the middle on Sadlek, but he's still able to get the ball. He actually gets a deflection as well, so that will be a throw to Czechia on the right-hand side. But again, South Africa, that's the first time they've had a decent bit of possession in the final third, but just couldn't get the ball into the box. Yeah,
it was poor execution with the final ball, but as you say, there's not much movement going on in front of him. I think what you really want to see is your forward players making runs in behind, or at least trying to draw the space so you've got something to run into perhaps, but there was none of that, and in the end it's just a fairly tenuous ball forward which is easily cut out.
It is, but as I say, we know that this Czechia side is, probably in terms of names, in terms of the clubs that their players play for, there will be a little bit more established, a little bit more marquee than South Africa. That's not being disrespectful, but having said that, they can still be got at, and I think that from South Africa's point of view, they don't want to feel like they've wasted an opportunity, because having seen how South Korea played, that won't be an easy game for South Africa in their final round either.
No, not at all. But also, maybe that's the blueprint for them to try and get at this Czech side as they look to come forward there.
They do, and Mbatha was asking for a handball there. It wouldn't have been a penalty, it was just outside the box, but the referee says nothing doing. Czechia are able to clear their lines, but the ball out from Soika is blocked here by Mudau, and South Africa have it back in the final third. And at the edge of the area, it goes for goal. It's not a bad effort in the end, actually. Polis is claiming that they got a deflection, and the referee agrees. So just goes to show you, sometimes just have to try your hand rather than passing all the way into the area. They try a shot from outside the box, and now they've got a set piece.
Yeah, and that was dipping wickedly, wasn't it, towards the net. It actually catches the side netting, deflected on the way through, which provided that sort of unorthodox dip to the ball. And yeah, it was threatening. I think Kovar was scrambling across his line a bit. Didn't know where that one was going.
Well, it's a short corner towards the edge of the area. Then it's played a square across towards Mukazi. Back over towards the right-hand side here, and so that's a poor bit of control there from Mukwena. And South Africa are in danger of, well, now they're going to go for goal with an effort from well over 40 yards. And it's well over the bar. That to me just shows that they haven't discussed what to do at set pieces, because they had a corner kick, they took it short, and 2 passes later you've got 2 centre-backs playing it square to each other 40 yards out from goal. Does beg the question why the centre-backs aren't in the box trying to win the header in the first place.
Yeah, I'm baffled by that whole routine there, because we've been speaking about the issue with South Africa is they're stringing passes together but they're going backwards when they get into the final third. Well, they've got a corner. What a fantastic opportunity to pump the ball into the box and put the Czechs under some real pressure. They go short, they go back, they shoot from 40 yards out.
And then exactly, and then they end up going back towards the halfway line anyway. It's one of my biggest pet hates. Anyone who's listened to my commentary before know that the short corner that ends up being a pass to the halfway line is just unacceptable in my eyes. But here come Czechia now trying to get forward. Derrida there with his pass just blocked at the edge of the area. Cleared towards the halfway line. Holmes heads it forward. That's a really good header as well. Picked up here by Kalujek. Tries to get it through towards Sheik, but it just doesn't quite have the legs. There's a challenge there from Mukwena as well. I think he's hurt himself there as well. The South African number 4, he's claiming he was fouled. He might have just actually got trodden on there, although I would argue that Kalujek had the right to go for the ball there.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's 50-50. It's actually a good challenge in the end and diverts the ball away from Kalujek. And it looked like, actually, I thought originally that Kalujek was trying to feed it into Schick, who was running off him. But no, it was a good challenge. And I think, yeah, 50-50, nothing doing.
Nothing doing there, as the Czechs are now back in possession here on the halfway line. Ball pinged up in the air here by Derrida over towards the left-hand side. It's kept in play. And back into the middle now here for a serve. Down the left-hand side goes Soika. Tries an early ball into the box this time. That's a good header away there by Ocon. Second ball back into the box, cleared by Ocon again. It's a bit more distance on it this time, and there's some pressing there in the middle of the park. Too much as far as the referee is concerned. And the captain there, Ladislav Krejci, giving away the free kick.
Yeah, I need to see that one again because I thought it looked a little bit soft. But I suppose when you're running to the back of a player and they're facing away from you, all you've got to do is feel that contact in the back and go down, and you'll probably get the free kick. And that's absolutely what happened against Krejci there, the captain, who of course scored a goal for the Czechs in the previous fixture. But I think that one might have been ruled out for offside, come to think of it. But yeah, he's a good player, is Krejci. I was impressed with him in the first game. I thought he was probably one of their standout players, and looks to threaten the box as well from headers.
No, he does, absolutely. We know what he can do with Wolves as well. He certainly does have a goal in him. And he's, as I say, as his shirt number would suggest, even though he's a centre-back in theory, he has really got the prowess on the ball of a midfielder. Very confident on the ball. Ball now played all the way back towards Ronwen Williams here, the South African goalkeeper and captain. Looks up and then plays one over the top, looking for the run of Reyners. That one is headed away from him. And it's out for a throw to South Africa here on the right-hand side. Maseko are taking it quickly. Back in towards Ocon. Up and Czechia are still trying to make it as difficult as possible for South Africa. They've not really been threatened in front of goal yet, but they are playing a high offside line just to make it a bit more difficult. That's a good ball though from Madiba towards the edge of the area. Adams with an excellent ball out towards the right hand side. Here comes the cross. Oh, it's a great chance, and it just eludes the man at the near post before it gets away. It was Maseko's ball. It was Maseko who missed it first. Reyners was assuming, I think, that Maseko would have got to it. In the end, neither of them get to it, and it's just out for a goal kick. But that's certainly a warning for Czechia.
Yeah, I was just praising Krejci, who did in fact score Czechia's opening goal of this tournament. But he lost his man there and nearly got his team into a little bit of trouble, and that's a real opportunity for South Africa.
It certainly is. And ball now taken here with referee just telling Czechia to get on with it. I think they want to probably have a little mini sort of a breather here, because the last couple of minutes are just getting a little bit better for South Africa. But having said that, Czechia have shown in this game that they're not afraid to try and get forward if they win the ball high up the field. As the ball played back now towards the right hand side, in towards that's going to be a foul. That's a clumsy challenge there on Patrick Schick. And the big striker there just needs a minute to pick himself up.
Yeah, it was a late one, and rightfully the free kick's been given, which just, as you mentioned, gives Czechia a little bit of time just to calm down, because South Africa growing into this game, having a couple of opportunities, and yeah, we see a replay on our unofficial off-tube screens. It was definitely a free kick, late, caught the man, and free kick, and a chance possibly to pump this ball towards the box. Sadlek.
Yeah, well, it's going to be Sadlek with the left foot, the goal scorer. South Africa are setting up just at the edge of the area with an offside, just to make it that little bit more difficult for that ball to find its intended target straight away. You can see that Schick has deliberately stood in an offside position. He's going to move back on side any moment now, as it's Sadlek's ball all the way across towards that left-hand side. It deflects away. It's still kept alive, then played back in. Always Kaluzek's ball into the box. And in the end, I'm not entirely sure whether that was a shot or a cross. It was probably a little bit too flat to be a shot, but it was probably a little bit too quick to be a cross as well.
Yeah, and it was just in between. As forward, South Africa looking to break with that long ball over the top. But it's well dealt with actually by Kova, who came out to sweep the ball away. But yeah, that ball in behind, it was sort of caught in no man's land, wasn't it, between a shot and a cross, and it meant that it was too basic for anyone to get on the end of it in the end.
Yeah, the ball played back towards Williams now. 18 minutes on the clock, unofficial independent off-tube studio commentary. It is Czechia 1. As South Africa 0, and the goalkeeper now just waiting to restart play here, Williams. Nobody closing him down. He's got enough time to clear this ball now over the top, and it's headed away by Maseko towards Krejci. Got options here, Derrida, then playing it all the way back towards Kovar. You're always going to expect there to be a few moments of lull in this game, particularly obviously with the heat. Although, of course, a lot's been made of the fact that perhaps the heat hasn't always been as much of an issue in these games, but of course we still do get those hydration breaks.
We still do, and there's been a lot of debate about them, hasn't there, about whether they stop the flow, the momentum of the game. It allows coaches to deliver instructions, and what we've often seen is that teams that have had a bit of momentum heading into a hydration break lose that momentum and actually quite often concede fairly soon after. So I can see why they've been a talking point. Wonder if that'll happen in this game as well.
Well, absolutely. It's one of those, I think, that the longer the tournament goes on, I think think teams will adapt to it. It's not as if we've never seen them before. Of course, anyone that remembers football during COVID times will remember that we had the drinks breaks, and also we do get them in the English league when I think it has to be over 25 degrees, I think, over 25 degrees centigrade, and then we do get them during Premier League games. So they're not completely alien to us, but I think it's the fact that it's just so regimented in every single game.
Yeah, and I think as well, I mean, a lot of these stadiums are beautifully air-conditioned as well, so I do feel that there's a theory there that we don't really need them if they are so well conditioned.
No, absolutely. I think that there's obviously a marketing ploy in there as well, but we've allowed ourselves a little bit of a tangent because the game just slowed down momentarily, but now we're back into the action and it's South Africa in possession. Down the left-hand side here with Madiba. Nice little turn there as well to get away from Sheik, who was back defending. Now it's in towards Apollos. Not a good ball out from Apollos. The idea was to get the ball over towards the right-hand side for Madao, but it actually gets all the way through towards Kaliso Madao anyway. He then plays it back towards Ocon. Now it's Mokoena. Back towards Mbakazi. Options for the long ball. Czechia are still trying to play a high line. Ball played back towards Williams now. That's why it's so important, I think, for Czechia to have that early start, because you always know at some point, for any side, even regardless of the confederation they're from, for them to get to the World Cup, they would have had to have had some organisation. They would have had to have had a bit of structure about their game. So there's always going to be a moment in the game where those sides improve. But if you can catch them cold at the start, like Czechia did with South Africa, I think it's just worked out very well for them.
Absolutely, and it means that South Africa have got to try and open up a little bit and commit a few more men forward, because this is a huge game. I don't really think a draw suits either of these two sides, because they've both got to play some tough games. The other two sides in the group who won their opening games against these two, you'd think are going to be tough games. So where are you going to get your 3 points from? It's probably in this fixture. So I think you've got to see, if you're South Africa, if you're Hugo Broos, you have to try and commit men forward, which obviously leaves gaps at the back for the Czechs to exploit.
No, it really does, and we're just going to get a bit of a break in play here now. There was a slight injury concern there, but I think the referee is quite happy for the game to get Krejci was the one down on the ground briefly. But everything fine with him now. We're back underway, and it is here with Ime Ocon. The right-hand side, ball then switched over. Look at the space here for Madiba on the left-hand side. Two fouls, a long way over. The Madiba lifts the ball into the box. Good header away there by Holmes. Will still be kept alive here as Apollos is bumped out of the way here by Soufal, but the ball was coming off a Czech player anyway, so it will be a throw to South Africa, level with the edge of the Czechia penalty area here on the left-hand side. Madiba with a short throw in towards Apollos. He plays back towards Mokoena. Now it's with Madao. Back towards Ocon here on the halfway line, being closed down, just pings that ball over towards the left-hand side. Has it been kept in play? Yes, it has, but the header is always a little bit misplaced there from Madiba. Couldn't quite get it to its intended target. Ball played back towards Kovar, who clears it to the halfway line, but South Africa get it straight back. It's just getting that little bit more difficult now for the side in red for Czechia to actually get hold of the ball.
This is much, much better from South Africa, and they actually look like they're posing a little bit of a threat. A few balls into the box over the last couple of minutes that had to be well dealt with. I think Holmes did really well to get across his man and nod the ball away. It was a dangerous ball into the box towards Reyners, but well dealt with. And South Africa starting to grow into this one and string passes together and show a little bit of attacking threat as we reach that hydration break we discussed earlier.
Absolutely, the aforementioned hydration break is now upon us, so the two sets of players just making their way over to their respective benches, and certainly Czechia will be delighted with the start they made in this game, getting an early goal. South Africa took them a good long while to get into this game, but now that they have, certainly looks like a much more difficult proposition here for Czechia. It really is a very impressive stadium now as we see the wide shots. The Atlanta venue here for the World Cup, or the Mercedes-Benz Arena, to give its commercial name that it has for most of its lifetime. And from South Africa's point of view, I think you were saying about the hydration break can sometimes just break the flow. This is probably a situation where Czechia will be more grateful for the break than South Africa. Yeah,
which you could say is a shame, really, because from the neutral perspective, we probably want to see South Africa try and get back into the game and make a contest of it, because early on it really was the Czechs on top, got that early goal and were dominating possession and the game and having the majority of the chances. But South Africa just starting to ease their way into it and show a little bit of threat going forward. So yeah, I think this would probably come at the worst possible time for them, so they've got to refocus, recalibrate and try and keep this momentum going.
Absolutely, as we see that replay, such a lovely ball that just threaded through. It was Soika at the edge of the area with that little touch ball in towards Sadilek, taking advantage of Mudao's mistake, but then Sadilek just firing that ball between goalkeeper and defender. and into the back of the net. But apart from that, we've had a couple of half chances for Czechia. There was that one deflected effort which just looped wide for South Africa. But overall, certainly Czechia making the better impression in this game so far. But South Africa making a decent response as well. Just getting replays of how delighted that Czechia bench were with that goal. As I say, South Africa do have a large following within the US and Canada, as indeed do the Czechs as well. So I'm sure there'll be plenty of domestic-based fans in the stadium, as well as the ones that have travelled from South Africa and Czechia respectively. Both players just getting some final words of advice there from their two respective managers. But as we are over the halfway mark in this first half, it is still Czechia 1, South Africa 0, and it will be Jonny to take us through to half-time.
Yeah, thanks, Paul. I think it's been somewhat of an entertaining first half of the first half, as I suppose you have to call it now with these hydration breaks.
We'll be loath to call them quarters, that's for sure.
Yes, absolutely. No, we can't do that. Even though I suppose we are in the US, so maybe they'd be quite used to calling them quarters. Maybe we should adopt that, maybe we shouldn't. But I want to throw that back to you, really, Paul, because I'm intrigued as to what your views are on how you would view or kind of approach this game if you were in the dugout here, because both of these sides lost their opening games. Do you think this is a must-win?
I think so. I think from both sides' perspective, because Czechia play the hosts Mexico in their last game of the group, and South Africa play South Korea, who've already won one game. So South Korea will, depending on what happens, of course, when South Korea take on Mexico. But if I would expect Mexico to win that game, we'll certainly not lose it. So potentially we could be going into the last round of games with Mexico and South Korea on 4 points. And if Czechia go on to win this game, they'll be on 3. So that really does mean that South Africa then have to try and beat South Korea, which is going to be a tall order. So for me, both of these sides should look at their oppositions in the next game and think they're going to be more difficult than who we're playing tonight. So we've got to try and get something out of it. I think South Africa will be encouraged by the last 10 minutes, and maybe Czechia will just be a little bit concerned that they need a second goal just to make sure that there are no surprises here from South Africa.
Well, we'll see how it unfolds. Currently on the ball, it is South Africa. Madiba goes back to his goalkeeper, Williams, the captain, who takes his time here. They're just... After the hydration break, you'd think they'd be ready to go again, and yes, Williams pumps the ball forward. He's looking towards the left-hand side slightly as South Africa try and build a little bit of momentum. Madiba plays it infield to Apollis, whose ball forward towards Reiners is somewhat dangerous. He's now on the edge of the box, but it's a poor touch by Mbatha, the number 5. He tries to bring it into his stride on the edge of the box, is not able to, and now grappling for it is Mbakazi, and does well to win the throw in as he was battling with Schick and actually was able to regain possession. And now Madao on the right hand side for South Africa. And now it's with Adams, who's dropped quite deep there, Adams actually, the number 23, to try and possibly get himself involved in the game. We haven't seen much of him.
No, we haven't, and I always think it's a worry when you've got a central midfielder who doesn't see much of the ball. Whether your side is playing well or badly, the central midfielder should really be involved. So that's something that he needs to do. He's had a couple of little moments pushing forward, but yeah, I'm not surprised that he's just trying to get into the game a little bit more.
Yeah, dropping very deep. He's inside the centre circle at the moment. He wants the ball off Ocon, but he's not going to get it. Instead, goes to the right-hand side, and now Ocon gets it back just inside the centre circle, just inside his own half. And it's kind of, one step forward, couple of steps back for South Africa, but they go long this time, and it's a poor ball. It's relatively easily dealt with by the Czechs, and now they can come forward as Schick has dropped quite deep, the number 10, to collect and play it back to Sofal on the right-hand side. But he's charged down very well, in fact, and it will be a throw-in to the Czechs as Apollis was across very quickly to try and close him down. And I think the South Africans want to see a little bit more of that, a little bit more urgency, a little bit more pressing, because we haven't seen too much of that so far. No, we haven't. It has been quite... I mean, the last 10 minutes, I think, have got a little bit better for South Africa, but overall, I would say that Czechia haven't really been tested too much. That's a bit of a clumsy one there, though, from Bluchek. He catches his man, and that's a painful one there for Mukwena. Well, he pleads his innocence to Slujek, but he definitely looked like his foot was high and late. So, from what I could see, that free kick was correctly given. And South Africa, as we see a replay here, is... Oh, I'm not sure, actually. The ball's there to be won. I think looking at that, I mean, it's... Arguably, he actually nicks the ball and then catches Mukwena, so you can argue that he actually wins the race to get to the ball first. I think you might be absolutely right there, but Mukwena went down clutching his ankle and won the free kick, so it is South Africa with Mukwena on the ball now, plays it out to the right with Ocon, and he finds Adams, who once again is dropping extremely deep into the right back position now to try and get himself involved with the game. It's now towards the left hand side. Mokoena plays it forward towards Madiba on this left hand side. They're trying to work something as down has gone the number 15 for the South Africans, Reyners, and he's won the free kick, and possibly this might be a chance to get the ball into the box. We of course saw a corner routine which they went short with. I think they've got to start thinking about getting this ball into the box as Hugo Bruce watches on. They haven't done that. They've gone short again. They're trying to build this up through possession, maybe following the South Korea model, do you think?
Yeah, whether or not they have players technically good enough to mirror what South Korea do in possession is a different matter. As I say, we made that comparison to Southampton in the first few minutes of the game, a side that have to play out from the back even if they haven't really got the personnel to do it. And from South Africa's point of view, I think that their best moments in this game so far, it has been when they've been that little bit more direct. As soon as they look to just have slow and steady square passing, I think that's when they actually look a little bit more susceptible to lose the ball.
Williams goes long for South Africa, but it's won in the air by the Czechs, and the ball will in fact break for Schick, and this could be quite dangerous as he checks back, turns inside and goes out wide towards his number 10, and now it's going to go left instead for the Czechs, who come backwards with Krejci, the number 7, and back out onto the left hand side. Thought about the cross there, Soika, but instead goes backwards, and now they look to work it out to the right hand side with Sofal. Looks towards the overlap, but he's not going to go there. Instead, he's going to go backwards to Holmes, and it's going to go all the way back to Kovar in the Czech goal. Somewhat similar to what we saw from South Africa in the opening portions of the game there. The Czechs forced back and actually quite well marshalled by the South Africans. As now it's Krejci. He's trying to get more involved than number 7. And out to this right-hand side once again, it's Holmes. And he tries to slip the ball through the gap, and he's looking for Derrida, but it's actually well dealt with by the South African defence, and I think that's going to be a free kick. Yes, it is indeed, as down went the number 7 for South Africa, Apollis, and he wins the free kick. But Mbakazi doing very, very well there in defence. It was a dangerous run through by Derrida, and Mbakazi got across him very, very well, as here's Madua on the right hand side for South Africa, and a nice turn of pace from Apollis, and now out to this left hand side. The number 6 is going to try and fire a ball in. It was Madiba, but it's hooked up into the air and cleared away by the Czechs. But a little bit of attacking threat once again from South Africa.
And that's what we need to see. We need to see a little bit more of that. The attacking threat stops at them being blocked at the edge of the area, but at least it's them in possession. It's them trying to get something started. I mean, for all the praise I've given them, they haven't really tested Kovar at all, and there's not really been much happening in the penalty area, so they're still a long way from actually being a real attacking threat.
Yeah, sure. That's the next step, isn't it? They started with very little possession, but actually 56% possession so far for South Africa, so they have been working the ball quite well, but we just haven't seen that attacking sharpness so far, as Maseko tries to bring the ball under control but loses out, and the Czechs are able to play it all the way back to Kovar, who goes long, and they'll be challenged in the air and won by the Czechs. And that's a late challenge. The referee's played advantage as Sofal comes forward with the ball, but still on the deck, because that was quite a strong challenge and actually played out of play, and it's a poor ball by Sofal, and the yellow card is quite rightly coming out. And it looked extremely late. Mokoena goes into the book, and on Cherv, it's a late challenge.
Yeah, it's a bad one, and he will miss the next game. He's not afraid of a challenge. He got booked in the previous game, Mokoena, so he will not play against South Korea come what may. But let's just have a look here if it's only supposed to be yellow. Yes, it is only a yellow. From our angle initially, I thought there might have been studs on the Czechia player. As it is, it's more of a late lunge without the studs. So yeah, yellow's absolutely correct.
Yeah, correct decision, but it was a very late challenge, and absolutely misses the next match. And quite a few disciplinary problems for South Africa in the first game. They need to try and avoid that in this one, don't they?
Well, they do. I mean, as I say, that South Africa won't have a huge wealth of talent on their bench. If they're going to start getting players from their starting 11 suspended for 2 or 3 games, then that's going to make the progress in the tournament very, very difficult.
It really is. Mokoena, the man who's just been booked, plays it back to his goalkeeper, Williams. who takes his time on the ball under little pressure. Schick thought about closing him down, but didn't do so, and the ball is fired in to number 7, Apollis, but it's going to work its way through towards the Czech Republic, and they tried to work it into the box, and for a second there we saw a couple of sloppy passes in the first game from South Africa, and Hlojek there was alive to it, and he tried to thread a ball through, and he slightly overhit it, but once again the ball given away in a dangerous area by South Africa.
It was in a dangerous area. I'm not quite sure what Holmes was doing so far up the field, but it just shows you they have got a little bit of fluidity to what they're doing. The ball from Hlojek in towards Holmes, but what I liked about that was that there was just that intent was there straight away. With South Africa, they've had a couple of opportunities where they've been in and around the penalty area, but they're afraid of making that killer pass, because I think they're afraid of losing it, but you made the point as well, they just don't have the numbers to actually play those balls to anyone. The idea that they would have one of their centre-backs bombing into the opposition box is just unthinkable.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe it's something that they might need to think about if this game wears on at this scoreline. 1 goal to the goods. The Czech Republic, an early goal has put them in the driving seat here, and it's on South Africa to try and find a way back into this game. Madiba on the ball, he goes backwards. We've seen a lot of that. South Africa on the ball, they go backwards. Seems to be a bit of a repeated trend. Can they get the ball forward? Well, Madau's tried to do just that, but they might well lose out. The second ball is won by the South Africans, but the offside flag goes up. So, Adams is not too sure about that one, but the flag has gone up, and it will be a free kick to the Czech Republic. And South Africa, it feels like, when they do get a bit of momentum and try and get the ball forward into the box, a sloppy pass, an offside flag, which, yeah, correct, Reyners is offside, and he does get involved in play, so it's the correct decision. As forward come the Czechs now on the left-hand side, with Hlojek tries to twist and turn and find his way through, but he's lost out. Madau was going to come away with the ball, and can South Africa break now? There's a little bit of impetus in this attack. Can they make the most of it as they've got the ball on the right-hand side and steaming through and looking for Reiners, and now back towards Madau, who's bombing in from the right, but it's going to be cleared away, and that was a half chance for South Africa. Maseko allows the ball to go behind, and it is going to be a corner kick, but at least they're showing signs.
They are showing signs, and it's Czechia that need to be careful now, because they're just starting to get into a little bit of a defensive mode. We did see that one moment of attack earlier, but there is a fluidity about South Africa. Just that ball from the right-hand side, just maybe a little bit overhit towards Madau, and the touch from Madau is very heavy as well. In fact, that's probably the killer in that move. But at least they do have a corner. Let's see if they can actually get the ball in. No, it's another short one.
Gone short again. I can't quite believe that. But they're going to try and work across here on the right-hand side, and they do indeed find one. And it's an athletic effort in there. I think it might have been Adams who tried to almost scorpion kick, but it's the Czechs who come away with it now with Hlojek, but he's lost out, and it's a flying challenge, a very strong and a very good challenge by South Africa, who win the ball back now and try and work their way forward with Mokoena, who is on a yellow card here, but he's on the ball. He goes to the right-hand side instead. South Africa trying to work it forward with Adams. He plays it to Madau on the right-hand side. Tries to find a cross, but it's blocked by the first man, but it will deflect back out for South Africa to recycle again with Mokoena. But they will now go backwards and just take the sting out of things. Do you think South Africa can be happy with the way that they've improved in this half, or do you want to see more?
I want to see more, but I'm happy with what I've seen so far. I think that compared to what we saw in the first 10-15 minutes, I really worried for them that it was going to be 3-0 by half-time, and it was just going to be a dreadful second half with South Africa just playing damage limitation, knowing that they're heading out of the tournament. But the next 10, 15, 20 minutes in this game have been much better for South Africa, albeit they're still missing that little bit of something in the final third. But there should be enough about this performance now to give Hugo Brewster the opportunity to perhaps let his players off the leash a little bit, because, well, just as I say that, it's another loose ball in mid. They are making an absolute mess of this. Commentators curse. We're talking about how South Africa are looking better going forward, and they make an absolute pig's ear of playing out from the back, and they give away a throw-on in an attacking position.
Yeah, Williams, the captain, the goalkeeper, played it relatively short towards Umbakazi, who races across and just fires the ball out for a throw-in under pressure. And having watched the opening game of the World Cup and the way that the Mexicans were able to take advantage of some sloppy passes at the back for South Africa. You do worry that if we see any more of that, they could be heading out of the tournament, and it could be very much their own doing if they carry on in that way. But as things are, the Czechs have got a throw in. It's over on the far side, and so Foul will take it. Usually a right back, but he's gone over to the left to fire in a long throw. They can be dangerous from these, and it was in towards Krejci, who we know can get his head on the ball. He scored their one and only goal of their opening match against South Korea, trying to get involved to do the same as the Czechs retain possession. Forced backwards a little bit though, and forced to go in fact all the way back to their goalkeeper by the South African press. So Kovar goes forward, goes long, looking to bring Schick, looking to bring Hlozek and Derrida into the game, and Schick does really well, drops a bit deep and wins the ball, and now forward come the Czechs, and Schick's gone down on the spin, and the referee has given the free kick. He's tried to do a little bit of a roulette to shield the ball, and as soon as he feels contact, he spins down to the ground, and in fact, the yellow card is coming out. It's Mbatha who goes into the book, and that's both of their pivot midfielders, McQuain and Mbatha. And I was talking about the passing at the back and the sloppy balls at the back were reminding me of the Mexican game. Well, seeing these challenges fly in is doing the same. I'm not sure about that one though.
I'm not sure. I mean, we'll see from this angle. I mean, I think he does catch a bit of Schick. I wonder if the yellow card is because the foul on its own, in my view, isn't a yellow card, but maybe the way he remonstrated. Although I have to say that by sort of modern standards, I don't think he did too much wrong there with the referee. It's what any footballer does. Whether or not that's already excessive is a different matter. But yeah, I think he could count himself as a little bit unlucky with the yellow card, although I do think it is probably a free kick.
I agree that it's a free kick, but I would also agree that I don't think that's a yellow card. I think that Schick's he's done well to go for the roulette and spin himself down to the ground. He's always going to make it look more dramatic than it perhaps actually was, as Miroslav Kubek watches on. His side have now got quite a dangerous free kick here and stood over it, and it's going to be fired blazed over the bar, I should say, by the Czechs, and yeah, you won't want to see that one back.
No, not at all. It's a poor effort, really. Much better. He's certainly got more about him than that collision, but I'm not really sure what he was hoping for. I mean, he's a right footer trying to sort of do a Ronaldo-esque sort of little shimmy over the wall and then dipping under. I mean, it's a very, very difficult one to try and pull off that, and in the end, it's a long way off the target. Yeah,
he got his technique all wrong, and it was from quite some distance out as well. You do wonder if a ball into the box with a side that is very good in the air, which we saw from the opening game of this World Cup, that might have been maybe borne more fruit for them. But as it is, it's still 1-0 to the Czechs. That early Sadalek goal, the difference, as South Africa now try and come forward with Apollis. He's going to try and bend the ball out towards Madao, but it's offside again. Looking down the line, the right back, pretty unforgivable. The flag goes up. We'll see a replay and see if that was the correct decision, but it was played into the box by Apollis, who again dropping over to this left-hand side and trying to bend the ball and possibly look for the knockback, but yeah, caught offside.
Caught offside, but you get the feeling that if South Africa are going to do something out of nothing, then you'd imagine Apollis is going to be involved. He certainly looks like the player that has a trick about him within that South African 11.
Yeah, a couple of the South African players dropping deep. We saw Adams do it earlier on. He was actually dropping into his own half at some phases to try and get involved, and I think Apollis has done the same. He started on the right-hand flank. He's now moved to the left-hand flank to try and get involved, and they've swapped over. Maseko is on the right now, and Apollis has come onto the left-hand side as South Africa look to build up forward here. It's Reyners twisting, turning, forced deep, forced back, forced to go backwards to Madao. Now onto the right-hand side for South Africa. Can he find a cross? Maseko, he does well to get past one, but his cross is quite easily blocked, and blocked behind by Krejci, so it is going to be a corner. I would say let's hope this one doesn't go short.
Well, I would be agreeing with you, only so something tells me that they're creatures of habit, these South African players. So let's hope we're wrong, because although the way a couple of players have just darted off,
they've gone short.
Yeah, they have gone short.
They've gone short again, looking for a free kick. It was Reyners, but he's easily dispossessed. And I tell you what, you get yourself a corner, you get yourself into a dangerous position, and once again, they've lost the ball, and it's actually gone out for a throw-in. It's going to be 2 South Africa.
Yeah, the referee overruling her linesman there. She says that that actually came off first. But that, to me, is the most scant of consolations. In actual fact, that corner kick was the worst of the lot, because that short corner was almost intercepted with the first pass.
Yeah.
I mean, at least the previous two, there were 3 balls played back towards the halfway line before the Czechia started pressing. This time, Czechia were able to win the ball back at the edge of their own box, and now South Africa have given it away again in midfield.
Yeah, that's a really poor ball backwards by Mudau, who hasn't quite been at the races today. You could say he was at fault for that first goal. He was caught in no man's land, didn't know whether to drop off, didn't know whether to press, did neither, and in fact gave a very easy pass through to Sadalek, who said thank you very much and stuck it into the back of the net. But forward now, South Africa tried to come again. It's a shot from range, and it's drilled high and over the bar, and it was always rising. And I tell you what, if South Africa are reduced to taking shots from that distance, that was Mokoena, I think the Czechs will be happy with that.
Well, the Czechs will be very happy with that. I mean, it's how many times would Mokoena hit a shot like that from that sort of distance in training or in a game and actually get anywhere near the goal? It's such a speculative effort. It's such a shot to nothing. It's not the time to be doing that when you've got 4 or 5 of your teammates ahead of you. They weren't forced into taking that shot early. It just tells me that for all the improvement we've been telling about South Africa, there is still a level of panic about their game.
Level of panic and perhaps frustration setting in now as we tick towards the 45-minute mark, and we'll see how much time is going to be added on. Of course, we'll factor in that hydration break as it's 4 minutes to be added on. I can't say I can think of too many stoppages.
No, with the 3 minutes for the drinks break, we've had a goal, we've had a couple of yellow cards, so you'd probably find a minute or 2 in there anyway. So, well, yeah, I think that's about right.
Yeah, and it's on this left-hand side. It's going to be a throw-in to the Czechs, and I think once again overruled by the referee. The throw-in is going to be taken by Sojka, the number 24 on the left-hand side, as Hlozek just boots a second ball out of play so we can get underway once again. And Sojka bends a ball in. It's going to be easily dealt with by Mbakazi, the number 14, but it will come back out for the Czechs. And Sojka once again now running at Mudau, who does well this time to play it back off Sojka and win a goal kick. That was good defending.
That was good defending. He's had his difficult moments in this first half, Kaliso Mudau, that is for sure. But that was much better, just making sure that he could guide that ball off the Czech player to let it go out for a goal kick. But now he's immediately going to be under pressure because his goalkeeper has decided to take a goal kick short. Eventually he's able to clear it long, and the ball angles away from Reyners. Just not. I think that it wouldn't take that much actually to get South Africa to look like a better side. But it's almost like they've been told you can't take it long from a goal kick, and there's almost like a nervousness about playing a pass into the penalty area. If they could fix those 2 little mental blocks, I think they'd be a much better proposition.
Need to get you in the dugout there, Paul. We need to get you getting this South African side going, but they're trying to do that themselves. Williams on the ball. They insist on playing the ball out from the back, but then a couple of minutes ago we saw Williams go long, so maybe they've changed.
By the way, I mean Sabri Lamouchi got sacked by Tunisia after one game.
Yeah.
So as I say, if there's any national teams looking for a manager, just hit me up. But in all seriousness, I think that from South Africa's point of view, they need to really come out with more of a game plan of how to get at Czechia in the second half. And from Czechia's point of view, they've taken their foot off the gas. They've allowed the South African team to get into the game, so maybe they just need to be that little bit more direct at the start of the second half as well.
Paul's phone is on the desk. He's waiting for the call to get involved with this World Cup as the South Africans get us going. They haven't got long to try and equalise before the break. It would be the perfect time to score. They've grown into the half, but they've not shown too much attacking threat, as dropping deep is Apolis on the left-hand side. Tries to go more central with it, and they're trying to work it forward now, the South Africans. And once again forced to go backwards. Maseko, the number 12, plays it back towards Ocon. And every time they go a little bit forward and gain a little bit of territory, they're forced all the way back, and they've actually gone back to the goalkeeper Williams as well. And he's going to go long this time, out to the right side, out to Mudau, who's chasing the ball. Does he get underneath it? He doesn't quite judge the trajectory of that ball, and in the end he allows it to go all the way out for a goal kick. And once again, long ball forward or a short little ball in, doesn't really seem to matter what the South Africans do. They're not finding the chances, are they?
They're not. There is still something missing in that final third. The passing towards the penalty area has not been good enough. The link-up play has improved as the first half's gone on, but it still leaves a bit to be desired.
It does indeed. Goal kick for Czechia as they lead by 1-0. The early Sadlet goal, the difference between these two sides, and as things look, that's how we're set to go in at the break. There is a little bit of time left. Can either side fashion one more opportunity? Well, it's the South Africans looking to come forward with Maseko on the right side. His touch is a little bit heavy. I thought he might have run the ball out of play, but he's kept it in and now drifts inside now, finds Apollis, and actually Apollis lets it go to Madiba, whose cross is poor and spilt by the goalkeeper, and the shot is blocked, the shot by Maseko, and that could have been calamitous from Kovar out of nothing. It was a tame ball into the box by Madiba, but he came out sort of Superman grab and dropped it. But now the Czechs are coming forward and dispossessed with a strong challenge. Ocon got across, and across goes Mbokasi to win the ball. He goes down and actually wins a goal kick. Well, that was quite frantic, wasn't it?
It certainly was a very frantic end to the first half, and Kovar making an absolute meal of something he should be able to catch with his eyes closed, quite frankly. And we're going to see a replay of it now.
Yeah, he comes out. He tried to catch it.
He
it just
serves it up to a South African player.
Yeah,
to the onrushing Maseko, and that Czech attack is actually the last attack of the first half. Our referee has called time on the first 45 minutes, where Czechia lead against South Africa by 1-0, and we're back in 15 minutes.